Hello and welcome back to Money Gist from the Central Bank, bringing you all the updates from the topmost monetary authority. Nigeria is targeting something big, $1 billion every month from diaspora remittances before the end of this year. That's the latest update from Olayemi Cardoso, Governor of the Central Bank of Nigeria. Speaking at the 2026 Monetary Policy Forum in Abuja, Cardoso revealed that remittances coming through official channels have already jumped from about $200 million to $600 million monthly. And according to him, this is not temporary growth. It's a structural shift in how Nigeria earns foreign exchange. So what changed? The CBN cleared over $7 billion in FX backlogs, introduced a willing buyer, willing seller system, and tightened market rules to improve transparency. The result? More confidence, better liquidity, and a stronger Naira environment. In fact, the gap between the official and black market rate has dropped to under 2%, while Nigeria's external reserves have climbed to over $50 billion, the highest level in 13 years. Even global institutions are taking notice with rating upgrades, and Nigeria exiting the FATF grey list. If African banks are now doing business across borders, who is making sure risks don't spread across countries? Well, the governor of the Central Bank of Nigeria, Olayemi Cardoso, says African regulators must start working together. Seriously, he made this known at the 4th Annual International Monetary Fund AFRITAC West 2 High-Level Executive Forum for Financial Sector Regulation and Supervision held in Abuja. Now here's the issue. African financial systems are becoming more connected, but policies and regulations are still largely local. And according to Cardoso, that's risky, because if something goes wrong in one country, it can quickly spread across others. A solution: stronger cross-border cooperation and shared regulatory standards across Africa. He also pointed out that Nigeria is already taking the lead. For example, the CBN's banking recapitalization program has attracted over 4.6 trillion naira in new capital, with about 27% coming from foreign investors. At the same time, the Apex Bank is tightening discipline, from enforcing stricter corporate governance to restricting banking services for chronic loan defaulters. On fintech, Cardoso says innovation is welcome, but it must be properly regulated to avoid systemic risks. The bigger message here is simple. Africa can't afford to regulate its financial system in isolation anymore. If the continent wants stability, growth, and investor confidence, then collaboration is no longer optional, it's necessary.
At the Central Bank of Nigeria, we have systematically modernized our regulatory and supervisory frameworks to keep pace with the rapidly evolving digital financial landscape. We strengthened operational oversight of switching and payment infrastructure providers, enhanced agent banking regulations to better address AML/CFT risks, and significantly improved interoperability across payment channels to support efficiency and scale.
The Central Bank of Nigeria has just dropped a major crackdown on loan defaulters, and this one is serious. If you're a big borrower who has refused to repay your loan, your banking access is about to be restricted. Speaking at an IMF forum in Abuja, CBN Governor Olayemi Cardoso made it clear the era of protecting chronic debt defaulters is officially over. According to the new directive, individuals and companies with large unpaid loans, what the CBN calls large ticket obligors, will now be blocked from accessing fresh credit and even key banking services like letters of credit and trade guarantees. In simple terms, if you owe big and you're not paying, banks will shut the door on you. The goal? To stop a long-standing culture where powerful borrowers take billions, default, and still move from bank to bank, collecting more loans. The CBN says this move will protect depositors' money, strengthen the banking system, and enforce serious financial discipline. Cardoso also emphasized that the bank is now operating a zero-tolerance policy on corporate governance violations. No more shortcuts. At the same time, the Apex Bank is doubling down on orthodox monetary policy, focusing on controlling inflation and restoring confidence in the Naira. Speaking of the Naira, if you've been wondering whether Nigeria's economy is finally turning a corner, this might interest you. The Central Bank of Nigeria, CBN, has just been named Central Bank of the Year by Central Banking Magazine, and this award is largely tied to the reforms led by CBN Governor Olayemi Cardoso. Now let's break it down simply. Before those reforms, Nigeria's economy was struggling. High inflation, weak naira, low investor confidence, and multiple confusing exchange rates. But since late 2023, the CBN made some bold moves. First, they cleaned up the forex market, introducing a transparent willing buyer, willing seller system and an electronic forex platform. Result, the gap between official and black market rates dropped from over 60% to less than 2%. They also cleared about $7 billion in forex backlog, helping businesses and investors trust the system again. Then, to fight inflation, the CBN raised interest rates aggressively. Inflation, which was above 34% in 2024, has now dropped to around 15% early this year. Another big win, Nigeria's foreign reserves climbed to about $46.7 billion, the highest in nearly 7 years. Plus, they stopped excessive money printing, improved transparency, and pushed banks to strengthen their capital. Even global bodies like the International Monetary Fund are taking notice, but it's not all perfect yet. Challenges like keeping inflation low and fully stabilizing the banking system still remain. Still, according to experts, these reforms are a major step towards long-term economic stability. The Central Bank of Nigeria has reacted to a recent court ruling involving Union Bank, and here is what it means for you. On March 25th, a federal high court in Lagos delivered a judgment related to the CBN's regulatory action on Union Bank back in January 2024. Now, the CBN says it is currently reviewing the full details of that judgment and will respond in line with the law. But here's the key message, and this is important. The CBN has assured Nigerians that Union Bank remains stable and fully operational. According to the Apex Bank, Union Bank is still capable of meeting all its obligations to customers, depositors, and stakeholders. That means your money is safe and normal banking services are not affected. The CBN also emphasized that it will continue its regulatory oversight to ensure the bank operates in a safe, sound, and stable manner. So, what does this mean for you? This is not a banking crisis, it's a legal process, and the system is still under control. No need to panic. Stay informed. Follow Money Gist for more updates on this and many other stories. And that's all the Money Gist from the Central Bank at this time. I'm Olayemi Cardoso. Remember to turn on your notification bell and be the first to get fresh updates on monetary policies that concern you. Like, subscribe, and share. See you in the next video.